Quebec rap group Muzion are being honored with a special edition stamp because right now is, of course, Black History Month. And we got Nantali Indongo here. And she told us all about growing up with a group like Muzion and how when their hits came out and the fact that they were the first people to experiment with language mixing in hip hop, it would just felt so organic. It really just captured the sound of the street of Montreal. Nantali had some incredible thoughts about what it means to see Muzion kind of be honored the way that they are right now. I really got so much out of this conversation. Get into it. Nantali, it's good to see you, pal.
Good to see you, buddy.
I'm so happy that you're here. Listen, before we get into the music, I just want to know for you, what does it mean to see them on the stamp?
Oh my gosh. I'm floored. Like, this is such a moment for not only Muzion, but for children of Caribbean immigrants, because these are Haitian people. I'm from English Caribbean, they're from French speaking Caribbean, but so many of us identify with them as an iconic music group, and also people who would have lived through very similar experiences as children of immigrants. And to see them end up on a stamp alongside Mishimi and my Shofesh West, it's like, it's beyond just the meaning, what it means for hip hop or hip hop in Canada. It really speaks to me around what it means to be a part of this project that we're calling Canada and all the people that helped to shape it, and especially through culture.
That's the thing I'm so grateful for you is, like you say, this project that we are calling Canada, and you remind me that we are working with constructs all the time. And everything that sort of reminds us that we're working with constructs can only be good for all of us. So Muzion formed in the mid-90s. It's a trio made up of rappers Dramatic and Impulse and his sister J. Kill. 1999, they released what became their most well-known hit. It's this one right here.
Le bug de l'antéchrist arrive, on ne sait même pas où aller. Représenté par Jeff, mais descendant de douane. So protège ton accueil, à UPI, in and out. C'est la panique totale, freestyle, the criminal.
Okay, talk to me about what is this song and why was it so big? Why was the response to it so big?
So I was about to speak to you in French. So the song is called La Vitineg, and it's from their debut album, Mentalité Mounmon, that came out in '99. And this song, which just it's really, it's a song that just brings people together. That's what the song is talking about. And what they say in the chorus is, life is not easy, and this is why we have to come together and support each other. And they rap in French, they rap in Creole, but like, I grew up in the English community of Montreal, and we were singing that song at any party. You could go to any club anywhere in this city. Once La Vitineg dropped, everyone was singing, even the people who don't speak Creole. I remember going to see a big celebration of whatever anniversary of hip hop in Quebec at our big music festival here, French Music Festival. And they did a special segment dedicated to rap. And of course, to close the set was Muzion. And of course, the biggest hit to play was La Vitineg. And here were 10,000 people of all generations, of all cultural backgrounds, singing this song. Like, and I didn't know this at the time, but they couldn't get commercial play. Surprise, surprise. They couldn't get commercial play, and they took out an ad in a French cultural magazine where they basically, the ad just kind of cursed off the industry type of thing. and you know,
did it work?
It worked. And one person was saying that, you know what? Probably the fact that they didn't get much support from industry to circulate that track is why that track has such longevity and sustained for so long.
Okay, tell me about this, because if you have this burgeoning scene, this burgeoning sort of Quebecois rap scene, what's the thing that makes Muzion distinct? Like, what's the thing that makes them sort of stand out from everything else around them?
Well, they put language mixing on the map, because they're rapping. So you got to understand, they're growing up with golden era rap. We are growing up at the same time in this city, and we're all kind of following the codes of Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and whatnot, right? I speak English, so it's easy for me to follow. They do speak English, but they speak French primarily, and they also speak Creole. And so they start to create this way of communicating and rapping that actually exists even in our common speech in Montreal, language mixing, no matter what no matter who you are. And that really becomes something that's special and distinct to the rap scene in Montreal, in Quebec, in Canada. And honestly, I've been around the world with rap music with my former band Nomadic Massive.
Yeah.
The language mixing doesn't really exist in every scene in hip hop, even when people speak more than one language.
Yeah.
Muzion really made it okay, and that kind of set off an idea for future generations. So you fast forward to like a big time artist like Raccoon, who's a young Haitian rapper from a similar neighborhood as Muzion, but he's also mixing Creole and French. You've got À la Claire Ensemble, who become this really big Quebec rap group in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and they start mixing English and French and creating their own lexicon with like Quebecois joual. So that idea of mixing language, because it's specific to our identity here in this province, they make it okay. Muzion sets that bar to the point where there was even controversy with some rap groups where the government was like, you're using too much English in your raps. You shouldn't be getting funding for using all that. Yeah, but it's like you can't go anywhere in this city without hearing language mixing. And now you've got people from North Africa, they're rapping and putting in their Maghrebian Arabic into it as well. So it just becomes the thing that we do here, and it infiltrates into other styles of music as well.
Okay, I want to talk about another song, but first let's hear a part of it right now. Let's go. Nantali, what is this song?
Yeah, so this song is C'est pas un hasard, which means it's not a coincidence, and it's from their second album, Je Révolutionne, or I'm revolutionizing. And the song really is about oppression and like systemic racism and all kinds of things. They talk about gender, they talk about blackness, they talk about poverty, they talk about, how difficult it is living in certain neighborhoods, and that it's no coincidence that those difficulties exist. And I find that this song, forget not just the theme, but if you listen to the flow of the rappers in Muzion, particularly Dramatique, who's one of my favorite rappers of all time. They are so talented with regards to rap flow. Like they just nail it. How they mix the language is one thing, but the way they flow on the beats. And then this topic, which is still relevant today. Like we grew up in neighborhoods in this city where, people had stereotypical ideas of what life was like. That song speaks to that, and still today those neighborhoods still get that kind of a bad rep, so I find it really interesting that they were talking about it in the 2000s, and they continue to do that work. Like Dramatique has always been somebody who advocates a lot for youth movements, works in youth centers and things like that.
Yeah,
these themes are the important themes in their music in general.
Nantali, I got about 30 seconds left here, but the fact that Muzion and Mishimi and Maestro, they're all getting their own special edition stamps. As you think about these artists, what does that tell you about Canada's contributions to hip hop right now?
It tells me that Canada has its own thing. It has its own thing. And big up to Caribbean people, because Caribbean cultures help shape what is the hip hop culture of Canada, or cultures of Canada. And it's just something that's super distinct. And I'm just really excited and proud that a new generation, younger generations, can see us as a part of this makeup of culture in this country and see that they can have space in it too.
Nantali, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's so nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming on again.
See you.
Of course, appreciate you. Nantali Indongo is the host and the producer of The Bridge on CBC Radio, a show about Quebec arts and culture. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. Guess what? We're going to be back tomorrow. We would love to see you then. In the meantime, have a great day.